Good morning and a very warm welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Mavani. Dear friends, I hope you all are doing good. Today is 17th April and let's see what we have got in the Hindu today. But before that, let's have a positive start. A change may be just around the corner. Now, change is something that is inevitable, right? We go through change on regular basis, but many times we want to change something in our life and we find it a bit difficult to do it because there is a pattern of old habit and it becomes a bit difficult to change your old habit. And generally speaking, if I talk about students, then the big problem that they face is waking up early in the morning. Many people decide, many students, they decide that they will wake up early in the morning next day, but again they wake up with a disappointment. So what can be done about it? The thing is, first of all, you have to go to bed a bit early, right? If you want to change anything, and this can be applied in other things as well, right? If you want to change your eating habits or whatever, so gather all your energies, right, and make up your mind. Use positive words, tell yourself positive words and give it a go. You may fail a couple of times, or you may succeed in the first go, second go you may fail. This will happen, but you have to continue this thing till it becomes a normal thing. I hope it's a bit easy to understand, isn't it? Now let's see what we have got on our table. Many articles. Today is Tuesday, so let me tell you this one first. This is about publish and perish ? The thing is, it is asking about this. Medical Council of India has decided that research paper or producing new research will become mandatory for these professors associated with medical education. Now the thing is, you have pros and cons of this thing. Now, good thing is that new material will come in. It will help medical field, of course, with new research and new thing. At the same time, this professors or this faculties who will be engaged in producing new things, or if they are giving up too much of their time for new research, then they want to be able to spare the quality time for teaching students, as well as we will also lose this experience that they have, the senior faculties have. So you have to be very careful when you are asking for compulsory research paper submit or coming out with new research on regular basis. When I say regular, I don't mean to say on daily basis, but you have to be engaged with research as per this MCI. So it has to take a fine balance approach here. Then this one is about in defense of Nehru. It is basically talking about Nehru and the steps that he has taken, and it is basically defending our first Prime Minister of India. A very easy to understand sort of article, so I'll leave it on you guys for you to go through it by yourself as a part of your self-study. Now coming on to another items. This one is about slippery task, slippery slick. This is about oil prices, OPEC and other things. We are going to go through it in detail. Very important articles today. You find this one, at home and exile. Very, very important article. High chances of you finding a direct or indirect question on refugee crisis and climate change and other things that are forcing us to change the way we live our life, etc. So very important article. Make sure, of course, I'm going to provide you a thorough analysis of this thing, but I will highly recommend all of you, if you are new to this analysis, then dear friends, self-study is important. Once this video lecture is over, then you have to do self-study. You have to go through this PDF. If you want, then you can go through the notes that we provide, or else you can go through this newspaper articles. But if I were you, if I would be in your position, then I will definitely go through this PDF of this lecture, as well as I will go through these articles. It may sound time consuming, but remember, you have to go through 4 general studies papers. And if you analyze, say for example, your UPSC exam or other exams, let's talk about UPSC exam, right? 75%. How much? 75%. I can even go ahead, I can even raise this bar, but let me keep it at safe level. 75% of your examination is formed of this current affairs and general studies, right? Current affairs plays a very important role. So make sure you go through this articles. Now this one is about towards a regional reset, the change in India's neighborhood policy, a subtle change that is observed in recent past. So this is a very interesting article as far as neighborhood is concerned, and Indian neighborhood is again a very important part of your syllabus. This is about in the Lord's hands. It's about Britain and England and its post Brexit scenario. We'll go through it very quickly. And here you have this UGC Act. It's time to replace UGC Act. This particular article is providing us with an alternative, you can say, commission. Very interesting points that we find here. And a couple of days ago, I came out with a special video lecture on how we can make our universities best in the world. So I will reckon you guys, if you haven't gone through that particular video of mine, special video that is available on our YouTube channel, go through it, and then you can relate these points with that particular video, and this will help you cover a very important topic. Higher education, right, education is a very important topic of your syllabus, as well as you find questions on education on a regular basis on every year, I mean to say, and higher education is again a very important part of education. So let's go through it in detail. Now this is the place from where you will get the PDF of this lecture. StudyIQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams. At present, up to 50% off is available. You have only 2 days to go, so make sure you make the most out of this up to 50% discount. And the question or queries, if you have any, give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen. Now dear friends, the first item is this slippery slick. There was a sharp fall in oil prices at the beginning of this year, and at present what we are seeing is that the price is going up and up. Now in recent past, this Brent crude oil price has gone up by $10. It's clocking somewhere around $70+. At present it is somewhere around 70+. So this is good news for all these countries who are producing oil. At the same time, people associated with oil production and its sales and other things, it is good news for them. But for countries like India, it is going to be a sort of alarming news. Now, one of the reasons why we have registered or we have seen this rise in oil price is because of this tensions that are going on in West Asia. We know recently this 3 countries, USA, UK and France, together they have bombarded or they have launched 100+ missiles in this Syria, and this is one of the main reasons why we have seen this oil prices going up in a very short period of time. But remember, this is again a sort of you can say a sort of recent event, or its impact is going to be limited in nature or limited in time. I mean to say it's going to be a short-term volatility that we are going to see here. But if we see in the longer term or how the future of oil is going to be, then the thing is, see, at present this OPEC countries, you have this International Energy Association, and as per International Energy Association, what it is saying is that the 70+ price means that the main job of OPEC was to make sure that this glut basically means this excessive supply of oil was there in the market, and now 70+ oil price indicates that the mission or this main job of OPEC was basically trying to make sure that the price stay above $70, and the production is basically going down and trying to achieve this fine balance, because again you have to apply this demand and supply. Now say for example you have this whole setup of extracting oil from various sources. Now you have employed people, you have this company, and everything is set up. So to make sure that you don't make any huge loss, you have to reach a 70+ mark, $70 or more than that, so that you are at least at this or this break-even point. A break-even point is basically no profit and no loss line. And this is very important because you cannot cut down, you cannot sell your machines or this pumps and whatever you have to pump out oil. So you have already employed people, you have all this structure and everything. So if you are somewhere above $70, then you are safe enough rather than making losses. And from last many years we have seen that this OPEC countries are facing huge amount of loss. The economy is under pressure and things like that. Now let me take you through these OPEC countries as well. These are the countries that you can see here. Some other important things that you should keep in mind, that North American continent is not part of OPEC. So it's not this Europe, Australia, right? Of course Asia is. So you have this South America, you have African countries, and then you have some West Asian countries as well. So here are the 12 countries of OPEC. Once you download the PDF, you can go through it in detail. You can go through the map as well here. I'm not taking you through one by one, all of them. It's very easy. Now, production cut down by OPEC has been around 2 lakh plus barrels, you can say, per day. At the same time, non-OPEC countries like USA has started this, it's been many years now, this shale gas technology. With the help of this system called fracking, what they do is they are extracting this oil and gas. It is termed a shale oil or shale gas. And because of this production by USA, this cut down of OPEC country is not helping that much. Just imagine if this oil was not produced, this shale technology was not there, then we might have seen this normal oil prices or per barrel prices would be somewhere around 140 or more than that as well. But because you have excessive supply from non-OPEC countries, we have seen this prices coming down, and because of this thing, OPEC countries are facing huge amount of losses. Now coming back to India, right? India imports nearly 80% of its energy. This oil and other items are imported. So if the prices are going up, this is going to be a big problem for our country, because what happens is that everything will become dearer, isn't it? Inflation will kick in. So this is something that we have to be very careful. Now in recent past, government has said that on day-to-day basis, the price of petrol and diesel, right, will be checked or will be balanced on regular basis. So if prices are going up, then the price of petrol and diesel will go up. If it comes down, then it will come down in our country. In retail prices we are talking about. But recently the government has realized this thing, that this is not going to help, because if you see the rise in per barrel price 70 plus, and if you compare this price rise in our country, then you will observe this thing, that it has not gone that much up. So government has realized at present that Karnataka election is just around the corner. At the same time, general election is not far as well. So, and all the time it has always been this litmus test for a central government when it comes to oil prices. So it is being very cautious here, and it is trying to keep this fine balance of interest, or trying to cover this interests of both consumer as well as producer, and it is very important too for the government. So this is basically everything about this particular editorial. Now, at home and exile, very important article. Now, forced displacement and refugees are something that is very common nowadays, isn't it? We have seen this crisis of Rohingyas, we have seen this crisis of people from Syria and other places. But one thing that we generally don't talk about that much is this internal migration. From one part of our country, people are moving to other parts. This is called, of course, internal or domestic migration, and this is world's biggest migration pattern that we see nowadays around the world. And most of the time it is because of this climate change and other things. At present, let me give you a small example. Like say for example, a gentleman called A is living in a village, and now after completing his degree or something, he has decided that he will move to a bigger city called X, he will live there, etc., etc. He will set up his life, and then he will migrate his family over X and try to give them a good life. Now, he is doing all the things that he has decided, and finally his family as well comes with him, and they are living with this X in this X city with different people around them, most of them migrants. Similar story, just like A. Now, because of this climate change, because of this water crisis and other things, earlier on it was the choice of A and his family to migrate to this city or some other place from his hometown or home village. But later on he will be forced, right? He will be forced to move somewhere else, and this is something that is happening in different parts of the world as well. May it be internal migration or may it be this international migration. We have or we are witnessing this climate exiles. People are living in exile. Yesterday we were talking about Nawaz Sharif and how he was in exile because of political reasons. Now, people from this island nations of Indian Oceans and Pacific Ocean, they are migrating to different parts of the world, and one of the main reason is this climate change. And this has been noted by this World Bank's report called Groundswell Preparing for Internal Climate Migration. Remember, this Groundswell Preparing for internal climate migration is a report prepared by, this is the logo of World Bank. You find this type of questions in your prelims examination, so keep this thing in mind. Now, as per this report, what it is saying that you have basically three areas, right? You have this Latin America, then you have this sub-Saharan region, and then you have this South Asian region. As per this report, it is saying that by 2050, pay attention, by 2050, 140 million people will migrate in this three different regions. And out of these three different regions, out of this 140 million people, 40 million people will be migrating just in this area of South Asia. So we are part of this South Asia, and the biggest problem with South Asia is that our whole food system or this farmland agriculture system is rain fed, and climate change is taking place. Just yesterday I released a video on Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, and water crisis in Jammu and Kashmir, and how it is going to impact its paddy production and things like that. So go through that thing as well. It's very important. It's not just limited to Jammu and Kashmir. I have discussed this thing in detail, that it will be applicable. This water crisis and this changing food pattern is applicable throughout our country, and you can apply it in this South Asian region as well, because of the nature or the character of our farmland is based on this rain fed, or it is more monsoon fed irrigation system that we are living in. So this climate change is going to create more problems for us. The other thing is that it also argues that by between 2020 and 2050, this 30 years, this migration will rise, or there will be a six-fold increase in this migration. So what can be done about it? Of course, we have to get rid of, or we have to curb this greenhouse gas emissions, so that the severity of climate change does not exacerbate. Then you have this integrating internal migration with ongoing development planning is vital. That means all the planning that we are doing, we have to keep in mind, we have to keep this space for this internal migration that we will see in future. And of course, protecting all these special ecological zones nearby your city area or urban area. They work as a buffer zone. They help us to mitigate this negative impact of climate change. At the same time, from now on, we should work on this rights of migrants. This should be, or you can say, you can argue that right to migrate could be right to life as well, because the reason why you are migrating from one place to another, particularly say for example this Indian Ocean islands or Pacific island, is because your islands are sinking, the water level is rising, so you have to migrate, you don't have any choice. So these are the steps that we have to take in future, but we have to start building the base from now on. And I believe that in future this migration will be part of right to life as well. It's a very futuristic thought, but it's interesting as well. Now, towards a regional reset, it's about neighborhood policy, and let me remind you again that regional policies or neighborhood first is the policy of the government of India, and it is part of your syllabus. Most of the times the questions that you find will be based on this neighborhood policy, or how we are dealing with our neighbors. When I say most of the time, it could be your pre-exam question, it could be your mains examination question, or it could be your interview question as well. So very important article in this sense. Now, government's foreign policy, the way things are going on at present, there is a sort of a drastic change in the way we used to deal with our neighbors, and we have started this reset with China. And there are few examples, like say for example, this whole Doklam standoff was sorted out peacefully. The other thing is that Prime Minister is keen to meet, and it's not just about India, it is also this China as well has agreed that they are looking forward for this meeting that is going to take place between Mr. Modi and President Xi Jinping in near future, this SCO meeting. But last year as well, these two leaders had a chat with each other. The meeting was, I remember this very well, that it was supposed to be a 30 minutes meeting, but they met for somewhere around more than 60 minutes. And this may look very simple, but it indicates that both the nations or both these leaders, they interacted with each other on various different topics, and they're basically, you can say that cooperating with each other when they meet. So this is a sort of important gesture. So last year we saw this thing as well, and at present as well, India is keeping its cool. Its responses are quite cool, not aggressive when it comes to this Doklam and nearby Doklam area. The reports are there that China is building this infrastructure and other thing. But India has said that this is not a threat for India at all. So this flexibility that we have been given, or we are giving to China, as far as this China-India relationship is concerned, something similar is visible in this South Asian region as well. Now take example of Maldives. Maldivian opposition was very much interested that India takes a strong position in this emergency that was applied. At the same time, USA as well, you know, USA's Congress came out with this statement. They said that this is the backyard of India, and China interfering here in Maldives is a big problem and things like that. So basically they were trying to nudge us to take a sort of aggressive stance here. But India again maintained peace and stability. India decided not to interfere and things like that. Even when Maldives or Malé is going ahead with this military talks with Pakistan, India has been quiet enough, and it's not out of fear. This is called cold strategy, right? We have been having a chat. Our NSA Ajit Doval has met Pakistani counterpart many a times, and they do have this telephonic conversation on regular basis. So all these things are coming out now, and it is a good sign. We need peace, and it is this method through which we can maintain good relationship with neighboring countries, and we can sort out the problems that we find here in our region. But of course you have some big issues to tackle, but the way things are going on, you know, recently there was this diplomatic this treating diplomats of each other's country, Pak and India. We have sorted out that problem, and this indicates that there is no appetite for escalation between India and Pakistan. At the same time, this whole things, this good behavior or reset with China will work only if we have benefits for both the sides here. And China is looking for BRI and India is looking for NSG, and NSG, that stands for this nuclear suppliers group, and Indian entry in NSG will definitely strengthen this nuclear suppliers group. At the same time, when we talk about BRI, then India is basically concerned about three things. This territorial integrity, this is the first thing. The second one is transparency of the projects, and the third one is sustainability. It should not become a big problem or depth issue for for India in future. And India is also talking about converting the CPEC into PSE. PSE stands for Pakistan Afghanistan Pakistan Afghanistan China Economic Corridor. So this can be done, and India can also join in as far as we have this 3 issues sorted out. And the biggest hurdle that we are finding here in our region is this SAARC issue. So for that, India and Pakistan together we have to work, because if you see that this region here, then as far as this BRI is concerned, Nepal, you have Bangladesh, apart from Bhutan, all other countries, they have agreed to join this BRI. When it comes to the SAARC, or South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, other countries are ready. All those countries who were opposing, and of course they opposed it for good because of this terrorism problem that we find from Pakistan. But now this Nepal is there, you have this Bangladesh, you have Bhutan, you have Sri Lanka. All these countries are basically on one page. They are saying that yes, SAARC meetings should continue. So we have to take a stand and a decision as well. Now this is going to take place in Pakistan, so government is going to be very careful whether to join this meeting. But if we leave the SAARC as it is, then this is not going to be beneficial at all for us, for the whole region. When I say us, it's time to replace the UGC Act. Now again, before moving ahead, I will recommend you guys to check out this how to make our universities best in the world special video lecture, available in both the languages, Hindi and English, on our YouTube channel. Make sure you check it. It will help you immensely. Higher education is very important topic. So this UGC, we know they have many issues and problems and things like that. So the best solution that is provided by this article written by Arvind Pangaria and one more person, I forgot the name, but anyways, it's a very interesting article. Higher Education Regulatory Commission, they are talking about this HERC, and HERC will take all the decisions will be taken by this HERC. Of course, the main function of this HERC will not be to control universities. It will give them autonomy to decide what is best for them, but at the same time it will keep a sort of 2 decisions or 2 things will be looked after by this HERC. One is this disbursement of the funds and accreditation, or giving the ranks out. At the same time, we have to keep a space, and we should allow the entry of foreign institutions as well, because they are interested in India, because we have a young population. At the same time, we can learn and we can enjoy their expertise and reputation. Most important thing is we have to integrate teaching and research together, and if we do all these things, then we will definitely change this higher education system in our country. This article is also talking about one advisory council, and this advisory council will have members from state as well as central government. So something like GST council, we will have this advisory council. We can have something like a GST council, and this will help in this federal, you can say federal cooperative federalism as far as this education is concerned. And that's everything regarding it. Now this one is about this editorial. Basically it's about England. And now House of Lords, you have upper house and lower house. We have this Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Over there they have this House of Lords, that is their upper house, and then you have House of Commons, that is their lower house. So basically this customs union decision will be taken in near future, and this is going to be a big test for this Brexit, because what UK has decided that it will stay with this customs union with EU. We know this divorce is going to take place between EU and Britain, and or UK and EU, and now the government wants to stay in this customs union. And if it stays in customs union, then it is going to be a bit easier for Britain and Republic of Ireland as well to carry on that trade, and this people moving from one part, not the people, but of course this trade can, or the supplies from both the sides can become a bit smooth. At the same time, the UK has to keep this thing in mind as well. Like say for example, let's take example of India. Now India is, say for example, having a sort of this custom treaty with EU, and if UK is having a custom treaty with EU, so if we are supplying something to EU at, say for example, X rate, then the same rate will be applicable if we supply it to EU, because we have this indirect treaty. You have this connection here. EU is in between. So this is something that UK has to keep in mind. But again, the reason why I have decided to go through this thing is because Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to be there in London, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I think tomorrow he's going to be there. So he is at present in Sweden, and he's going to have this Nordic summit in Sweden. So this is a big important news, international news now. So this is the reason why I have decided to take this thing on board. Now let's go through some important news. The big news for our Indian economy, for our society, for every one of us is monsoon is going to be normal this year. This has been said by IMD. Now remember this line here, very important for you to understand. This long period average is 89 centimeter. Keep this thing in mind, right? And when you say normal rainfall, then 96 to 104% of this 89 centimeter is considered as a normal. So we are going to have this 97% rainfall. So things are going to be all right. Now, you know, yesterday we talked about this Surat rape that took place. Now it is a bit difficult for the Surat police to identify the 11-year-old girl. The hunt is on. They are trying to find this connection. They have gone through this 8,000 missing girls photos as well, and let's hope that culprits will be behind the bars very soon. Now all 5 accused of this Mecca Masjid blast case, they walk free because of lack of evidence. Supreme Court has said that protection should be given to this Kathua victims' family members, and the Deepika Singh Rajawat, the lady who is fighting this case for this Kathua's victim. At the same time, trade treaty on Modi's agenda. This is the thing that I was talking about. European Union and India's trade treaty. Apart from that, we are going to have this first Indo-Nordic summit. You have this Sweden, you have Denmark, Finland, Iceland, and Norway. 5 important countries are part of this Nordic group, and they are one of the most developed countries in the world. Now India is going to have a chat with them. So many more things on this item to come in near future. Make sure you are following this news item in detail. Go through these articles in detail, and it will help you a lot. With this, CW offers counterpoint to protectionism. That means this Commonwealth, British Prime Minister has said that Commonwealth members should act to promote trade and investment. And there is also this news out that they want, this Commonwealth or CHOGM group wants India to take a lead in globalizing this whole group. So let's wait and watch for some more updates. And Ola is going to introduce 10,000 EVs, electronic vehicles, e-rickshaws and e-auto rickshaws. A good thing, a good business opportunity for many people. Now I will leave you with 2 pictures. One is this sad picture of elephants that are being killed because of this train accident, and water is going to be a big problem. You know that IMD earlier on said that we are going to have a bit you can say above normal summer. So water is a big thing, and we all can play a very important part in spreading awareness as far as this saving water is concerned and not polluting the water resources. So do take an active part. It is going to be the biggest social service that we can do, I believe. These are your answers. These are your 2 new questions. One is based on crop, and the other one is based on constitution, or you can say this how Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha's function and rights. That's everything in today's discussion, dear friends. This is our offer that is on till 18th April. Make sure you make the most out of this 50% discount. If you have learned something from today's discussion, please don't forget to give us your like. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and do share this lecture with other people as well. It will help them immensely. If it is helping you, then it will help someone else as well. pass your answers, pass your valuable comments. Thank you very much. I will see you all soon. God bless you all. Jai Hind.